The John Muir Trail was carved out of granite rock rising from the basement of time. Its path follows ancient tribes over thousands of years, shepherds moving stock to the high meadows, and the United States Cavalry. In the late 1800s, explorers pushed up into the highest elevations from Yosemite Valley and the mighty river basins of the Merced, the San Joaquin, and the Kings Rivers. The trail runs 210 miles from Yosemite Valley to the summit of Mount Whitney and is one of the longest stretches of uninterrupted alpine trail in America. It climbs 11 High Sierra passes, 6 of them over 12,000 feet in elevation, and winds through the watersheds of 5 major rivers that provide fresh water to the farms and communities of California, over 30 million people. At the 14,500-foot summit of Mount Whitney, it touches the highest point in the lower 48 states. When a young John Muir first arrived in California 150 years ago, he was stunned by the snow-crested peaks of the Sierra Nevada rising from the Central Valley floor. He described the mountains as so luminous that they were wholly composed of light, the most divinely beautiful of all mountain chains. Muir's ramblings into Yosemite reached the highest parts of the Sierra crest. He published his diaries and drawings of what he saw. He challenged the known sciences and invited public action to conserve this wilderness for the public good. But the idea for this High Sierra Trail is credited to Theodore Solomons, a renowned naturalist and early member of the Sierra Club. He was a boy herding cattle on his uncle's ranch near Fresno. It was 1884. As a young man and academic, Solomons explored these rugged landscapes, probing for a route, following Muir's footsteps. But it was Joseph LeConte Jr. and 2 companions, James Hutchinson and Duncan McDuffie, who first forged the trail that Solomons and many others had explored for decades. During the winter of 1908, LeConte charted a proposed route. He met with Muir and Solomons to discuss their experiences and used the expedition notes and maps of many others. On July 1, the team left from Yosemite Valley with 3 of their best pack mules, each loaded with 175 pounds of equipment and food. They climbed past Tuolumne Meadows and followed the Lyle Canyon eastward over Donahue Pass. There they turned south for the long trek toward Mount Whitney, staying as close as possible to the High Sierra crest. Two of them scouted the trail ahead, and the third managed the mules and set up camp each night. Showing true grit in the face of the rugged terrain, the LeConte team connected the route and completed the journey to Bubbs Creek, 228 miles in 28 days. This was the first recorded through hike of the route that shortly after became the John Muir Trail. Like previous explorers, LeConte took careful notes and published his diary and a map of that trip in the Sierra Club Bulletin of 1909. Over the next few years, a trail alignment was finally charted. After John Muir died in 1914, the early Sierra Club leaders proposed a bill in the California State Legislature, quote, for the construction of a trail in the Sierra Nevada mountains to be known as the John Muir Trail, close quote. This was the first long-distance trail in American history, created by law for the public good. On May 17, 1915, Governor Hiram Johnson signed the bill and dedicated the trail to Muir's memory. The law allocated $10,000, about $250,000 in today's money, for the trail's construction. 4 more $10,000 grants followed. These funds provided for the difficult engineering and arduous construction of the JMT. Tens of thousands of granite boulders were hand-drilled, dynamited, moved by crowbar, and towed by mule. Boulders were positioned into creeks and bridges built over rivers. In 1938, the United States Forest Service finished the trail with the construction of the Golden Staircase at Palisades Creek and the trail through the sheer talus face of Forester Pass, the highest pass traversed in America. The trail we hike today follows closely the one forged by LeConte in 1908, but it was built on the explorations of many scientists, academics, and government agencies of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. With ancient volcanoes on the east and evidence of huge glaciers to the west, they studied these lands for its unique geography, geology and mineralogy, the movement of glacial ice, and the biology and botany of high alpine species. This trail is undoubtedly a crown jewel of the American landscape, perfectly capturing the spirit of exploration and new scientific studies, with vistas of exquisite beauty. For over a century now, people have hiked this magnificent trail and marveled at its grandeur. It is worthy of our protection and preservation for centuries to come.